because it's like as soon as I don't see it happening in my life, and I love being in control, and drugs got me that, right?
Control.
I love being in control. And as soon as I feel like I'm out of control, I'm like, well, you know, God hates me or I hate God, whichever one. And sometimes one leads to another, and it's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna, and it just from there, I think it just spirals. Whatever your, you know, issue is with life, it just gets worse.
Hey everybody, this is Pastor Cody here. One thing the team and I have been talking a lot about lately is the way that God has been moving and working here at the Village. We've been seeing lives transformed every week. We've been seeing baptisms, we've been seeing salvations. And on Monday mornings, the whole team comes together and we talk about those things and we share those stories with each other. And one thing that I thought would be valuable is if you guys have an opportunity to hear some of those stories, to hear some of those God moments, as we call them, every week. So every week on Tuesday mornings, we're going to start posting this video that you're watching now, where we're just talking about some of the things that God has done lately, maybe even over this past weekend. And we want you to be able to hear these stories and to look within yourself and see the ways that God's working in you and around you and through you. And so I hope that you feel encouraged by Andrew's story as he shares the way that God's been moving in his life lately. And to me and to Pastor John, as I make them some coffee. Coffee's a passion of mine. And I love the conversation that coffee brings. I love this conversation that coffee brought.
Yeah, God's been moving.
Yeah, God's been moving at the Village, and we want to recognize that movement, and we want to like kind of get the word out that like some great things are happening. So I want to hear from both of you, just ways that you've seen God moving, either personally or at church or anything, and I just want to like celebrate those for a minute. So John, you go first.
Yeah. So and this will like lead in
steam milk while you do this.
Do you want me to wait?
Keep talking.
There it is. Okay. So one way I've seen God moving, and this is I think going to lead into kind of what you're talking about, but like people keep responding to the gospel. You know, we just keep sharing the good news of Jesus, that he's alive, that he loves you, that there's hope for the future. And so as we keep sharing the good news of the gospel, people keep responding to it. And so I've seen God working in so many different people's lives. And in the past, like 2 years, we've had almost 200 people baptized here at church. And that's
been awesome.
It's been really cool.
You first.
All right, see if it's good or not.
Lots too many air bubbles in there. I like it.
All right.
I accept. Didn't do very good on the milk. I'm a beginner barista.
That's okay.
So
Okay.
Working on it.
You're not getting tipped.
That's all right, man. All right, so
so I don't know.
200 baptisms. God's been
Yeah, I just feel like we keep pointing people towards Jesus, and Jesus keeps helping people. And like one person, like this is gonna be cheesy, so I'm sorry that you have to hear it. But one person that's actually been encouraging for me is Andrew, because
Stop.
like I don't know, you've been on a journey since I've known you, right? Like almost 3 years.
Yeah.
I've known you for that whole time, and you know, we've been really open and honest with each other about how God is and isn't moving in your life. And so like, do you want to share how God has moved in your life? Because that's been super encouraging for me and my wife.
Sure.
Like,
Yeah. I mean, you know, put it plainly, he really wasn't in my life for a long time, I should say. I don't know. Like, I believed in God. Like, I knew he existed in my mind. He existed. I just didn't want anything to do with God because I think part of it was anger, and another part of it was just like, I just have an issue with, you know, authority, kind of. But you know, I think it's been a battle between me and God for a long time. Sure. You know, just like I don't want to do any of the things I'm supposed to do as far as the church tells me.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the part of that battle was not just that, but you know, like with addiction, not that one leads to another, but it happened in my life.
Yeah. They're connected in your life. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, sure.
So, I think having, you know, recently coming to ask Jesus to be in my life has changed my life in so many ways. Like the little ones, I'm less angry in general, which is huge.
That's actually kind of a big one.
That was like a character trait for a while.
Like in all the little ways, you know, like I'm less rageful all the time. Yeah, that is a little way.
Yeah, right. But you know, little things like that. Like my relationships with people in my life have improved significantly. I am less angry. And like I was struggling with addiction for, I mean, realistically, starting when I was 18 up until recently.
Yeah, sure.
And you know, even if I had some clean time, it was just time. It wasn't, there was no, like, I hated every moment of my life.
Yeah.
I was still angry, I was still
Yeah.
depressed,
Yeah.
whatever. But like ever since, you know, up until recently, like I'm getting more serious about being connected to God and like having Jesus in my life and stuff. Like there was a time like when I was living with you and I was trying to get clean, that like I couldn't make it past 2 weeks without picking up again, using, you know, doing whatever. And that was crazy to me. But then as soon as I kind of rerouted my life, it's been like been easy. There were still things in my life that I have to watch out for, but it's not like I'm constantly thinking. I don't wake up in the morning, I'm like, I want to do crystal meth. Which is literally, and it sounds insane, but that's what my life was. I woke up and I was like drugs and then, you know, drinking whatever else, but it's insane how different my life is now.
Yeah.
It's actually crazy.
Yeah.
I still can't believe it.
I can.
Yeah, well,
We've seen it.
Yeah, I've seen it, but it was like
The change.
like whenever you were crashing with Shannon and me, like there were times where, you know, we would have late night conversations or whatever, or I would be having a conversation with God on your behalf and you didn't know it, and like I would get frustrated about like, man, like why isn't God moving? Why aren't things happening? And then it just seemed like one day, you know, you sent me that text of just like, hey, I'm choosing Jesus.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Something clicks, right?
Yeah.
It's like, this is what we've been praying for. This is what we've been working for. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's super encouraging to me because I think sometimes when you're in and around the church a lot, or just generally thinking about God, we can pray, we can ask, we can seek, but sometimes it seems like God is silent or God's quiet or God's distant.
Right.
And so I think it's important to like remember when he does move and like acknowledge when he does move, because then it's a touchstone for like me, right? So the next time God feels distant or silent or whatever, like I can remember about, okay, I sought after God for this, like, and God moved, right?
Yeah.
So it's never too late. Kind of
Right,
thing.
exactly. And I think it's so easy to get that too, because it's like as soon as I don't see it happening in my
Yeah.
life, and I love being in control,
Yeah.
and drugs got me that, right?
Control.
I love being in control. And as soon as I feel like I'm out of control, I'm like, well, you know, God hates me or I hate God, whichever one. And
Yeah.
sometimes one leads to another, and it's like, all right, well, I'm just gonna, and it just from there, I think it just spirals.
Yeah.
Whatever your, you know, issue is with life, it just gets worse.
Yeah.
So,
Well,
yeah.
that's like what we talked about too, and like the more you release control and hand it over to God and just say like, hey, your will, you know, whatever you want, I'm okay with. That's when things like actually start to get into control.
Yeah.
You know, like you realize your role is your role, God's role is God's role, and it just doesn't seem so chaotic anymore because you've handed it over to the person who's actually in charge.
yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah. Well, we say a lot around here that like Jesus changes everything, and like I think we've seen that in your life, Andrew, and
Yeah.
and just in a short time, like we've known you for such a long time, and it's been this long journey of like, oh, he's got it, he's got it, he's got it, he's got it, and then like finally when it clicked,
Yeah.
like man, it was just so cool to watch that,
Yeah.
to see the way that you were literally transformed overnight.
Yeah. It's insane.
But some would say overnight. But we saw the 2.5 years, 3 years of the journey that
Right.
it was. And so I think that's an important and
Yeah.
like profound thing to talk about, that like it may look like overnight for some people, but you don't see the whole journey, all the failures, all the valleys that you have to go through sometimes for Jesus to really change everything. Right. So, but you know, you stayed connected to community. You
Yeah.
stayed talking about the things that you were feeling, whether they were like stuff that our
You have
community-
feelings?
yeah, right, wild. But whether it was like something that like we wanted to hear or not, we still cared about
Right.
who you were, and we cared about you, and that was like, man, like it's just so rewarding to see God like transform you.
Yeah, and I'm really glad that I stuck around church, you know,
Yeah.
because I didn't really want to be here. If I'm honest, I didn't really want to be here because I had such a different group of people I would be around.
Yeah.
And I think the reason I came, because I know you've asked me this before, and I didn't really have an answer, but like I think really the reason I came was because I would like, if I'm going to be pretty transparent about my life outside of church versus inside, it was outside of church, I was constantly running from someone, whether it is like a legal consequence or personal consequence.
Yeah, sure.
Or, you know, and I was just like, doing a lot of silly things that were just very slowly killing me.
So silly.
Yeah, so silly. What a silly goose. But yeah, like, I mean, I was exhausted all the time because I was just constantly destroying my life, physically and just in every other aspect.
Yeah.
So, like, coming here, being around people who, like, kind of, even if they didn't like you, they would at least pretend to, like, care about you. But, like, a lot of these people did care about me, and it was just, like, refreshing to be around people that, like, were real people. They weren't they weren't out to get you. They weren't going to, like, help you ruin your life kind of thing. And, like,
we're just here.
yeah,
right?
we're just here, and, like, you're not pushing
Yeah.
anything on me. It was just, like, we're just friends. And, like, it gave me a break if I wasn't drinking myself to oblivion or, you know, doing a crap load of drugs and doing whatever else. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
You know, just, like, it was a nice break, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A place where you can just, like, be yourself and it be fine.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is really cliche, but we talk about like the church is the hospital for broken people,
Right.
broken souls, and I don't know. I hope it felt like that for you. Like,
Yeah.
it was just a place that you could be refreshed, no matter where you were with Jesus. Like, it sounds like that's what you're saying.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Perfectly.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And that's when the church is at its best. Like, I feel like so often, at least for me being a pastor, like that's what I want to be, right? But I drop the ball so often, and I feel, I don't know, like a responsibility or a guilt or something for that. And so, like, I also want to call out, not everybody has your experience. Like, sometimes people go into church and they feel judged, they feel out of place, or, you know, like things like that. And so, I don't know, I think a part of, like, being honest like this about who we are, where we come from, is a way over that. Because then, like, people who need to be able to be themselves, they can realize that, okay, just because I'm a pastor or Cody's a pastor, or, like, you're baptized and volunteering in a church and all this stuff, like, okay, we still don't have all the answers. And so
Right.
you're not judged, you're not less than, you're
Yeah.
not outsider, we're all outsiders just together.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So I just
Yeah.
kind of wanted to call that out because sometimes people can feel really isolated at church.
Yeah.
Yeah.